right? But has that backfired in the sense where you have some lessons learned for other executives that are out there that, try that?
Yeah, I would say it can. I don't know that it's like fully backfired on me where I've lost, I would say though that sometimes people think you're nicer than you, not than you are, but nicer than you're not willing to come at it if you need to.
Yeah.
And I think everybody who knows me knows I'm not afraid to get after it if I need to. And if somebody deserves it, they're going to get it. The nice thing about my approach or what I believe is important in leadership is that I can have hard conversations with everybody because they know it's never coming from a bad place. I'm not the wishy-washy leader that is, hey, I'm in a good mood today and tomorrow I'm not. I'm always consistent.
So this episode is probably going to be one of my favorite ones, unless Katie disappoints us.
That's likely.
It is likely.
It can happen.
But so today we get to be here with Bobby Davis.
Chief Bobby Davis.
Where is he?
Chief Bobby Davis.
Chief Bobby Davis.
That's you. Can you introduce
guy.
yourself?
You're a police chief, sir.
To us,
Yes.
please.
Well, my name is Bobby Davis, and I am probably one of the luckiest humans in the world that I get to work with the women and men of the Elk Grove Police Department, and I get to lead that organization.
So people are going to watch this and they're going to think that's a load of bullshit, right? It's legitimate.
Yep, honest to goodness.
So that's something that, we'll talk about that on this episode for sure. Is really the value of the members of the department that you brought in as kind of the ethos of your of you becoming chief in Elk Grove, right? So it's it's interesting because, like you worked for a couple different chiefs also. So we all worked for different chiefs, different sheriffs, right, over our tenure, and each one has their thing, right? There was only one other chief that I worked for that their thing was caring about the people. Yeah. All of them cared about the people. I don't want to make it sound like they didn't care, but
he was a lot. When Bobby came in, we were like, this guy, all he wants to do is be friends with people and give people hugs. And what does he do here?
What's going on here?
True. Yeah. I did.
Yeah. I mean, let's just get to it.
Okay.
Why is that? Where did it come from? What's that about?
The funny thing for me is that the people are really what kind of makes everything work, right? I mean, I say it all the time that organizations like ours, they don't need the management, right? Because the people are doing the work. And I think once we started to acknowledge, or as a management, as somebody in management, once you start to acknowledge that people are really the driving factor in our community, the driving factor in our service model, the driving factor in our success overall, you kind of get out of your own way and say, okay, what can I do to make sure that the people that are doing the hard work find success and are happy? And what does that look like? And, for many, many years, I think we thought, okay, you just throw money at them, you throw the toys and the goodies. And the one thing that I felt like I found missing really was love.
Really?
I'll be honest.
That was very sweet. And
it's true. That is what I think. And being comfortable saying that you love people and that, what they do really matters. And one of my very first opportunities to speak to our department, I talked about the membership, and the membership matters.
Yeah.
And, we don't or aren't able to, if we are unable to show them that they matter in the sense that not just, hey, great job, but you know what, I'm going to sit with you, give me a hug, tell me how you're doing, what you're doing. I will cry with you if I need to. I will fight with you if I need to. But you're never going to leave me thinking that you did something wrong, even if it's a disciplinary scenario.
Yeah.
You need to know, if I'm going to make a cut, I'm going to wrap myself back around you and ensure that you feel the best that you can feel in that moment, regardless of what it is.
No,
hopefully it's a high, right?
Right.
But if it's not, then I'm also going to make sure that I hug you on the way out and say, we're going to get back to that high.
Yeah. With that, has that ever backfired on you, being I mean, it sounds cliche to say a person of people, right? But has that backfired in the sense where you have some lessons learned for other executives that are out there that, try that?
Yeah, I would say it can. I don't know that it's like fully backfired on me where I've lost, I would say though that sometimes people think you're nicer than you, not than you are, but nicer than you're not willing to come at it if you need to.
Yeah.
And I think everybody who knows me knows I'm not afraid to get after it if I need to. And if somebody deserves it, they're going to get it. The nice thing about my approach or what I believe is important in leadership is that I can have hard conversations with everybody because they know it's never coming from a bad place. I'm not the wishy-washy leader that is, hey, I'm in a good mood today and tomorrow I'm not. I'm always consistent, right? I ask people to call me by my first name. I try to get to know everybody by their first name. It's one of those things for me that when I do decide to have a conversation, good or bad, I come in the same way every time.
Yeah.
And if you come in at, I think, in an even keel or soft or just professional, like imagine that, if you just come in one way, you're going to find success in whatever the conversation is. And I have yet to have a bad conversation where one of the parties did not know it needed to happen. And if you're willing to start it, the odds are that they're both going to come to an agreement together that it was necessary. And you don't leave those conversations with a bad taste in that person's mouth. And by that, nobody is happy 100% of the time. However, if you are consistent in how you treat and care for people, they're never going to hold that against you, even in a bad moment, because you're always the same. And that's what I try to do.
I think you helped us build kind of the culture of the RTIC too. We talked about this in other episodes where we wanted to be the place that people wanted to stop and hang out in and see what we're doing and try to contribute. And I think building that culture of we're going to treat everybody the same. We're going to make sure that it's a good time. We're going to work hard and we're going to do X, Y, and Z, but we want to build an environment that people want to be in.
I would agree, and I think that was one of the things I really thought that changed our organization during COVID because we had lost connection with everybody, right? The one place we had a true connection in our department was real time, right? And as crazy as it sounds, right, this should be a place that is, business-oriented, real time, crime happening, all these other things that can go on. But it became a hub. It became a family hub at the Elk Grove Police Department.
All because of me.
It was because of you. But it became that hub because we all came there.
Yeah.
Literally, everybody came there. And whether it was in the conference room outside of our offices that right in the very beginning, or when we actually transitioned into real time, when that space started to truly become real time.
Yeah.
We had a wall, we had the other stuff, but it wasn't a family space. It was just a wall full of electronic equipment. And what happened to that room is that's the room that we all went to during times of crisis, during times of joy, during times of stress. That's where we came. And we all got relief when we went into that room. And it was because we shared information. We did it together. We provided a service to not just our community and our people, but we provided it to anybody who was willing to come in and open up and be vulnerable in that space. And it really became the family hub of that department.
Yeah.
I really like that, the breaking bread concept in a room. And
100%.
That's your family space.
Mentioned in the conference room brings back a story. So,
oh boy.
All right. So
likely inappropriate.
Very early days of COVID, right? And you and Chief Albright were filming to try to put out a message, right, to all of us. And then I decided it was a good time. It was about 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
To be
We've been
fair,
there all day.
Bobby was early to filming, so he was a little nervous.
True.
He was stressed.
True.
And early to the PD.
That was why.
We were coaching him on how to deliver this people message.
News long years ago.
You didn't know these people yet, so it was a lot.
It was
so in the I decided in the middle of the film that you guys were trying to make that I would just walk in there in a Grinch mask, right in behind you guys. Tell us about what you thought in that moment.
Well,
I got to promote that
early
guy.
on, right? Early on, it's like, is this how this is going to be? Because, I mean, I'm down. I can get down with that. But it is, when you have those long days, and as you know, during COVID, right, everything was so stressful. And we didn't know what was going to happen, right? I mean, whether we're going to be out for a week or we're going to be out for, 2 years.
Yeah.
Nobody knew. And I think what it did for me was it reaffirmed why I chose Elk Grove, if I'm being honest. I think for me, coming to our city to work, thinking I would never leave the sheriff's department because it was my, I truly love that place. I still do. But to come to a place where you can say we are handed the keys to a castle, right? We have this wonderful city, great support, a ton of fun, and the people know how to have a good time, right? And so like all of those things put together equal a wonderful place to be every day, right?
Yeah.
And when you're talking about a workplace that can be fun, that I saw as this is just another mark on that wall, another one of those checks that I made when I chose to come to the city of Elk Grove. And in those moments, right, if we can't break it down and have fun, what are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing?
Katie tells a story, or reminds me of a story when it comes to having a good time. And we were at home, right, because of COVID, so we'd all been sent working remotely. And Chief Albright decided to tell us, hey, bring some levity into your updates that you guys have. Because at the time, you remember, all we were doing is this many people have died, this many people are sick, this is what's going to happen, right? Don't go out, don't touch that, whatever you do. And then the next week it was make sure you touch that, right? So that was a change even for Katie and I. Just the whole concept of what do you mean levity? We're talking about all this, but it was appropriate, right? And it worked out. So that I want to paint that picture because it is indicative of what Elk Grove, not just the PD, but really the city staff has adopted, right? It's that product.
I would agree, and it's so rare to find a municipality as a whole that is all marching down the same path, right? Our city side and our PD side, and we like to say that Laguna Palms is like the Grand Canyon, but it's not. But the truth is that I think all of us in the city are all trying to achieve the same thing, right? And I think we've seen that in any service, right? You guys would make a call, hey, we need, K-rails up, and what happens? All of a sudden, right, their Public Works is out there knocking it out. And it's just a really unique scenario to be part of something that really is trying to achieve the same thing all at once. And all of us, and they give us, our city gives us every tool that we need to be successful.
Don't we know that?
Right.
Right. That that leads into a real-time center discussion, right? First agency outside of Sacramento. I want to make sure I don't take away credit that they had, but first agency, especially of our size, that got into the real-time center game, so to speak. And when I got that job, I remember Chief Albright saying, "All right, the road is open, right? Go and make this the best you can. Figure it out. Do it." Again, government employee, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, right? Road is open, right? He was legit. Like, that's what we're doing. And then you came along when he retired, and I remember her and I talking, right? Because we're inside the real-time center going, what is this going to look like? How's this going to go? Change of leadership. Do we still have the same autonomy we had before? Is it still the same direction? And I don't know if you remember the conversation or not, but I remember asking you, like, can you stop by? And you and I talked, and I'm like, all right, you're taking the reins over here. Are we changing direction? Like, what are we doing? You tell me what torch I'm carrying so that we know where we're going. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. You were good about that, too, which was great because it gave me a chance to really think about, man, I'm coming into a new role, which I was shocked that I was getting anyway, which is a whole nother podcast.
In the stars? Like, are you sure you're not going to take these away?
At some point, I'm like, pinch me because I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be a sergeant still somewhere. So, but no, we had that conversation, and what I love is that you both of you were so direct and forward in that these are things we need to do. Like if we're not going to get a bicycle and ride around on flat tires. It's not efficient. Right. And so for us and for me to have that conversation, and I think you knew the answer to that probably before we started, but you need to hear it, right? I think employees need to know that we're going to turn this thing in from a Mustang GT to a Lamborghini, and we're going to make it go real fast, right? And if we need to pivot, we will. But the truth is that when you have the caliber of people that are working in that space that you two represent, you can't put the reins on. Like you have to take a governor off. And by doing that, you hold them accountable because both of you were, and the entire unit was or is. But you got to be okay making sometimes some kind of difficult decisions and saying, we're going to go for it. We're going to do it. And if it doesn't work, what do we expect? We're going to say it doesn't work, and we have to move. We have to change because you're wasting not just the opportunity to create this thing that was real time for us, but you have a whole membership of people who are relying on this thing to work. And you do not push a product out that affect the people who are doing the work in a negative way. And we did not. We chose to say, we are going to be on the forefront of this. We are going to go and make changes if we need to, but we're going to do it considering who the end user is. And that's all of our folks.
Yeah. Did it ever cross your guys' mind or even conversation on it was bigger than Elk Grove, right? Because we marketed our real-time center in the sense that we wanted people to learn from our experiences, right? Because we knew early on we're in a unique situation. We have a city and an agency that supported the development in reality of this thing. And so I felt like we almost owed it to the profession, right? We can't fail. I use that term all the time when I talk to chiefs is this doesn't get to fail. Yeah. Right. And so it's just kind of interesting when you look at that.
I will say that the reason it can't fail is because there are too many people in our communities who are relying on this to change the way we police. Yeah. I think we've shown that, right? The importance of that, not just in the safety aspect that our women and men have, greater tools and can go to a call and actually know what's happening. It changes the way we police in the sense that this real time, long term, is going to save municipalities millions and millions of dollars in retirement, in salaries, in other areas where we can combine the two, the human element and the technology element to make this or make us that much better. Yeah. And for me, when I consider that, can I get 10 bodies in 2 years? Probably if I really went to our city manager and said, sir, I really need this. This is going to make our city safer. And if I could justify it, he will have an open ear to that and listen to me. But if I can say, sir, can we spend that amount of money on technology or real time or DFR or something that is going to last for 25, 30 years and get better and better and better, I would rather go down that path because I think what it shows is that not only do the people matter in how we police, the technology makes it safer in how we police, and it gives our people greater accountability. It gives less opportunity for legislators or fringe groups to say we're doing it wrong because we don't make contact without having some sort of real-time person touching everything that we do, which in turn eliminates that we policed a certain area because they look like a certain way. That is gone. Yeah. Those days you can't legislate out of when we're not doing it. There's no way to legislate in or out of that because we're not doing it. And eliminate bias through technology, to me, keeps all of us safer and eliminates, I think, some of the areas that we've had a challenge throughout the history of law enforcement.
Yeah. So I'm going to pivot because that's a favorite word of everybody.
It is.
Take a shot every time we say pivot in this podcast.
No doubt. So,
wow, that would be a good podcast.
Fun. Yeah.
Wow.
Yikes.
That would. We'd be drunk.
If he had a drink.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
For those who don't know, he does not drink.
That's right.
Bobby and I will take your pivot shots
That's
for you.
fine.
Yeah, we'll split them. Splitsies.
Yeah, I almost forgot what the hell we were pivoting for now. So that's helpful. There's I want to go into drone as first responder because Elk Grove was unique in this sense as well. I remember when that conversation we alluded to earlier, like what do you see? What do you see coming out? I remember your answer. I want DFR. I want to look into that. I want to see what that's about. That's not unusual. What is unusual is you're a chief who went to conferences, who saw technology, saw vendors, saw everything that was out there, yet you never came back. Not one time that I remember. You never came back and said, I want that, right? And a lot of chiefs, for good reason, right? Yeah. They do their research, they do their vetting, but they come back and they instruct their staff, I want this platform or this solution. You never did that with DFR. Not only did you not do that, but we ended up spending initially more money than what was normal at the time, right? What was understood at the time this is what it's going to cost to be DFR. Why? Why did you allow, and this is a weird way to phrase the question, but why did you allow your people to bring to you the solution?
Well, the truth is, right, the bosses don't typically have the solution, and nor should we be looking for the solution. We should be looking through the people that we work with. And I would say that our membership and the people who are the end users need to be in the front of what we're trying to achieve so that we can gain success and buy-in. The fact is yes, I could go look at something and say, oh, this looks great, and let's get it, right? But I think we've proven through the history of law enforcement that when a boss goes and finds a product they like and implements that without the people, it not that it fails every time, but when any portion of that isn't done right, the people say, we didn't want it.
Yeah.
We didn't want it. And not only that, I don't know that I could say that, yep, Bobby Davis is qualified because he's done this job for 28 years. He's the one that's qualified to make the decision on what we're going to get. What I believed at the time, and DFR was just one of, I think, many things that I really wanted to implement, but it was one of the ones that I knew was going to have the biggest impact in our membership, in that this is going to make them safer. It's going to satisfy the need for our community to know what we're doing, how we're doing it, how fast we can do it. But for the troops, this is a tool. Now, we utilize this as a tool to ensure, excellent public safety and all that. But what it really mattered to me was, did they want it? Did they want to be part of something that was completely innovative, something we've never done, and it doesn't take away from them? And for me to show this tool didn't take away from our people, yet it only enhanced what they had to do, that was super important. And so when I come back to you guys and say, not only was I not going to say, I want this product, I actually came back and doubled down on, go look across the country and see what's best.
I remember that.
Go out and see what's best, because we're better off spending the money now to see what's out there, put our fingers on it, touch it, talk to the people, talk to the operators, talk to the centers that were out there, and see what works.
Yeah.
Right? And if it doesn't work, don't even bring it back.
Yeah.
I think that's an important distinction. When we talk to agencies all around the country about collaborative policing, real-time crime centers, and all these different things, and we tell them, hey, go to your chief, go to somebody and say, what's the vision here? Like, what's the end goal?
Yeah.
What does it look like for you? And then make that kind of the leading target in your real-time center. I think that can get confused with, hey, we just do whatever the chief wants us to try that week. That sounds like a terrible way to approach a real-time crime center. And so that distinction of, hey, you do want the chief to lead you in what the vision is going to be, but giving your people enough bandwidth to say, okay, we're going to go run with it, and we're just going to let you know what that looks like and how we're going to hit that.
Well, that too. And I would say that I can have a greater or more of an open conversation with our city manager and our electeds when they say, did you bring the best product? And I can honestly say yes, because we looked at thousands of different things. We know what's best for the city of Elk Grove because we actually went out. And our people went and tested. Our people went and talked and sat and rode with those users of this product. And as a chief of police, I could say, yeah, those things are all great. But do I really know? I'm not the one working in the car any longer. And so for me to try to bring a product to our department that I haven't and would not use the way that our membership is, I think is doing a disservice or an injustice to the law enforcement profession, especially our people. Mm-hmm. My job is to ensure that we have the tools that we need, that I can protect them from those things that might come their way that they shouldn't have to deal with, and getting them the tools that they need, eliminate a few of those things from happening to them and around them. Safety for our people is number one, because when we have a safe space that our folks can work in and they're happy and they're joyful, what happens in our community? Exponentially, it is better. It is a more safe community. Yeah. Our people respond differently. Our people go out and make contact in a way that's going to start in the positive, regardless, because they have the tools, they have the support, they know that we want the best for them. And to do that, you give them everything. And I mean, whether it's myself, whether it is my belief in them, whether it is love or equipment or vehicles or whatever it is, give it to them and let them do their thing. And they will find an excellent place of service for our community.
Hmm.
He's so much nicer to people than you are.
That's true.
That's just all I keep thinking. Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
That's probably why the balance was good.
Yeah.
Right?
They need somebody to get rid of people like you.
Fun fact, you probably remember this. You were brand new. Another example of what you were going to get, and you certainly remember this. I was taking college classes, and I got a B in one of my classes.
She achieved
yes.
a B.
Achieved a B, and I was pretty okay with it. And so I'm telling the room, like, hey, I got a B, and he was very upset. He's like, this is terrible. You're an embarrassment to the RTIC. I can't believe you work here. And so you emailed the chief, the assistant chief, and our entire captain team with not only my grade, but the questions on the final I got wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. You needed some mentoring.
Yeah.
And that was a spark.
One way.
To
So
mentor.
People person.
Yeah.
Different kind of leader.
Let's fast forward, though. Unless I'm wrong, you never again got anything lower than an A after that.
I would never mix up George Bush and George W. in a final ever again.
Ever.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Again, thank
Big
you.
mistake.
Nor
Right.
should you.
I'm
Nor-
sorry,
yeah.
Bush family.
Two very different people.
Public
Very
apology.
different people.
Yeah.
Public apology to the Bush family.
But you know, I mean, if we're going to go here,
Yes.
there are ways to
This is gonna
empower
hurt my
people.
feelings.
There are ways to help people realize their potential.
yeah.
Sometimes that way is to notify others who care about them of their deficiencies.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. That's two different
I
ways
couldn't
to
even
put
keep
that.
it in. I'm sorry. It is no. Jamie is 100% right.
Yeah, thank
Thank you.
Charismatic leadership in
Yes.
two different versions.
Yes.
Yeah. Something that Katie wanted to ask you, but she was kind of embarrassed.
Okay.
She wants to know why it is you like black licorice.
So first of all, I think you like black licorice
I do
as well.
Yes.
A terrible choice in food.
It is not true.
It's
That is
delicious.
not. I will tell you that Jamie and I early on. Actually, that was one of our first COVID meetings as
Yes,
well.
it was.
I had some, and we were talking about black licorice or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, we have this 2-pound bag of black licorice that pretty much Jamie and I ate by ourselves.
That's true.
Yeah.
And
We solved
Disgusting.
COVID.
We did
with
as a matter
black
of fact.
licorice.
In
Disgusting.
fact, I think it probably is what they use to
I'm certain of it.
to
Yeah,
heal
for the
people.
vaccine and
Yeah.
everything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Point.
good.
You know what?
That's what it was.
You know,
That's
we
why
need-
we're
we
still
need-
alive.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Terrible choice in food.
It is a phenomenal snack.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you know why it's good? Because not everybody likes it.
Exactly.
And that means that we,
Always available.
that's right, it's always available. We can put it in a jar and go, I'm going to have a snack
Yeah.
today. Because nobody else is going to
And you can even offer it to people you don't like because you
Yes.
know they're not going to take
Heck
it.
no.
Okay.
No.
This is the way.
You heard
Yes.
it here first.
Black licorice. It's just the best.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
terrible.
the best. So, chief tenures are finite,
Yes.
right? What's the legacy that you hope to leave when you do retire finally?
Yeah. Great question.
Can
You
I
know-
be chief when you retire?
Sure.
Can you be, or do they want you to be?
I can be.
Yeah.
I can be.
I mean,
I
why
shall
not,
be. Will
right?
be me.
Well, sure.
I mean, you know, I would say that I don't really look at legacy, right? Because I think that if you spend time looking at legacy, you're going to fail. If you do right by the people and by your community, I think what you've done will speak for itself. And I think that if we're really, you know, if you're trying to, you know, put a label on something, the thing that I want to be remembered most as is a good man and a good father. And I think for me, my legacy will be with them because this profession is one that when I'm gone, there's going to be someone who replaces me. Yeah. And then when that person is gone, there's going to be somebody who replaces that person. And so if I worry about legacy, then I'm probably going to fail somebody. And what I try to do is be fair and just in everything that I do with the people that I have a chance to work with. Because I think that for me, if it's coming from a place of a good place, which is usually in my heart and in my soul, I can't fail, even when I make mistakes, because people will give me grace because I tried to do my best for them. I will give them who I am incomplete. I will not allow people to suffer. I don't care for that. And I think just being present, being a good boss, and being a friend of the people who need it when they need it, really is kind of what's been given. It's been given me this opportunity, I think, to find success in my leadership style. And I don't know that I agree with charismatic. I think it's more of caring, right, all the way around. And I just tend to want to make sure that people are okay.
Yeah.
That's
It's
really what I try to
it's
do.
something. The reason we wanted to have you first because we like you, but second,
Thank you.
the reason
I
we,
especially like you.
Thank
yeah,
you.
You're welcome.
the second reason we wanted to have you on here is because agencies are adopting real-time policing strategies across the country now. It's not this, what is this thing, right? And what I hope to get across to any executive that's considering this is you're bringing in a program, whatever that looks like, that is not traditional, no matter how you spin it, right? Everything about it is new, progressive, different. And so I want executives to know it's not the easiest thing in the world to do and to take in or take on a new real-time center or real-time policing, but it can be done, and you can take it over from somebody else that did it, right? That's what I'm hoping for, is that people just see that kind of have to change your paradigm a little bit.
You do, and you know, obviously, I think Tim, or Chief Albright, had great vision, and you know, if there was one thing he also really showed me was you need to let them do it and get out of the way. I mean, he really did give me that, and in his ability to, I think, see the future was significant. He had a great team, and you guys and Chris Hill and some of the others that were part of that. And so I didn't try to reinvent what he did. I just tried to make it my own. And by doing that, I also stayed out of the way, but I was able to put little nuggets here and there that I thought were important and would help you guys in the center. Because I think that you know, ensuring that you guys know that the direction you're going to go, whatever it might be, isn't going to be wrong, because there's no real wrong way to go in real time. What I think you can do is you do a disservice if you don't try to go a direction.
Yeah.
Right. If you're just like, we're just too afraid we're going to stay because we have success with this, then you're going to fall behind. Right. You know, regular DFR versus DFR 2.0. Clearly moving forward, what I can tell you that when DFR moves to the next level, we will start looking to see what is that next level. We're not going to stick with something that, yeah, it works and we're going to do that for 10 years. I think we fail our people if that's the case.
Yep.
Why not get better, be better with the product? Real time is the same way. And I think for folks to think that, you know, body after body after body after body after body is the answer, right? 1 per 1,000, which is an antiquated approach to policing. Use the technology to be that force multiplier, right? Like, why not? Why not try it? And if you can get your community and your electeds to buy in on, we're going to be that much more efficient and that much more safe with just a little bit of technology, because you're going to find savings. And then you can add a little bit more technology. And then, by the way, in the middle of that, you did add people to the service as well.
Yeah.
And so you're able to do both, right? And not be afraid to really kind of change your approach, right? Instead of asking for 10 people, ask for 8 and put 2 of the dollars from those FTEs into technology. Because you're going to find that those 2 FTE, the money for the 2 FTEs is probably going to equal 5 people.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's just the technology that much better. And then take a step back and go, okay, where are we? Or like, is this working? And if not, let's pivot a little bit. It's one of those things where it's okay to be different.
Yeah.
And embrace it, right? If you have the ability in your city to do it, do it. And if you have the ability to be knee deep in the budget in your city, and you think things are tight right now, look at technology, because that's going to free money up in 5 or 10 years down the road for you to really grow the people and the technology together.
Yeah. That's well said. Thanks for being on, Bobby.
Yeah, thanks for
We
having
appreciate it. This will go down as probably one of our better episodes.
Well, yeah. I mean, thank you for having me. You know, I you know how I feel about you two, both of you, and early on in my career, my chiefhood, if you will. You know, some of the success I was able to find is as a result of the work you guys put in, and that's the truth. And I think you know that about me. You know how I feel about you, both of you leaving. As much as I hated it, you don't hold people back, right? Because you're making our profession better. I think that, you know, I have been blessed to do what I do and have a chance to do it with people like you, but you two are people that I consider a friend, and you know, I feel like this is just another opportunity. I don't have to talk to you every day, but when I see you, I saw you yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. And that is unique. That is special.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, thank you for letting me come in and sharing some of my story. And then we'll talk about that whole, am I really a chief later?
Yeah. That's good.
Wow.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. Thank
wonderful.
you. And
Thank you.
Thanks to the listeners for watching this one.
Yeah.
And
Goodbye.